Konnichiwa minasan, Nihongo no gakusei desu. In this lesson, we will learn the Japanese honorific verbs. So what are these honorific verbs? Now in Japanese, unlike in English, there is hierarchy of speech. And we have learned this in many lessons previously. So first we have the casual language, that is kodaketa Nihongo, kodaketa Nihongo. This casual language is that we use when we are talking with close friends or families. Now, we have also learned the polite language, the tenego, tenego. Polite language, that is the mass form. So, the sentence says that you hear that ends in mas, mashita, masen deshita. It is under the keigo, honorific language, keigo. So, the mass form. Now we're going to learn the sonkeigo. Sonkeigo or honorific respectful language. Sonkeigo. The last part of honorific language is kenjogo. Kenjogo. It's the humble language. Today we're going to learn about the honorific or respectful language. Alright, so we have sonkeigo, honorific slash respectful language. This language is used to describe the actions of people we respect. They bestow honor or exalt the person performing the activity. What does this mean? So here, as we have learned in the previous lessons, we have the dictionary form or the casual form. So we have here iru, iku, kuru, and their polite counterpart. So imas, ikimas, kimas. Okay? So these are the basic levels of speeches, the casual and the polite. In this honorific or respectful language, instead of using iku, iru, or kuru, or imas, kimas, ikimas, when talking about somebody that we respect, instead of using these verbs, instead we use irasharu, irasharu. This is the respectful verb of iru, iku, kuru. And its conjugation is irashaimasu, irashaimasu. Okay, so this is the conjugation. So irashaimasu, irasharu, irashanai. But of course, since this is a respectful language, we only use the mass form. So irashaimasu, irashaimasen, irashaimashita, irashaimasen deshita. Okay, so example sentence. Sensei wa kyou gakkou ni irashaimasen. So here, when we use irashaimasen or irashaimasu, we are saying that the teacher will not graciously come, will not graciously go, will not graciously be at school. So why do we add graciously? Again, basically because this is a respectful verb. So we use irashaimasen to show our respect, our exaltation to the teacher. We do not just say gakko ni ikimasen or gakko ni ikimasen because that is too soft. It is polite, but it is not giving that respect. So instead of using these three here, we use irashaimasen, and that is giving respect to what the teacher is doing. Okay? So graciously is not really the literal translation. It is just the emotion that is attached to the verb irashaimasen or irashaimasu. That's the basic and simple explanation to that. We can apply this irashaimasu into these verbs. So we have motte iku to take something. So instead of motte iku, we have motte irashaimasu. We can also use this in motte kuru, bring something. Motte kuru. We can say motte irashaimasu again. And we can also use this to tsurete iku, take someone along. Tsurete iku, tsurete irashaimasu. and tsurete kuru. Again, tsurete irashaimasu. Another example. 社長はお子さんの会社に連れていらっしゃいました. Okay, so this is the example of those verbs that we have just mentioned. So, then the president graciously brought his child or his children to the office. 社長はお子さんの会社に連れていらっしゃいました. So here, 連れていらっしゃいました, we use 連れてくる. And its mass form, 連れてきました. Brought someone. We are saying here, or we are giving respect to what the president did. We did not merely describe what he did, but we gave respect to the action that he did. So for taberu and nomu, to eat and to drink. So taberu, nomu, the casual form. Tabemasu, nomimasu, the polite form. Its honorific or respectful equivalent verb is meshi agaru. Meshi agaru. Alright, so the conjugation of meshi agaru is meshi agarimasu, meshi agarimasen, meshi agarimashita, meshi agarimasen deshita. So you can see lesson 3, part 1 for verb conjugations. Nani o meshi agarimasu ka? Okay, so when we are talking, for example, to our teacher, that we give respect, or to somebody of higher status, we can use meshi agarimasu ka. So if we respect that person, we can also use nomimasu or tabemasu, but it's just polite form. When we give respect to someone, instead of saying nani o nomimasu ka or nani o tabemasu ka, we use nani o meshi agarimasu ka? What will you graciously eat, drink? Okay? It depends on the context of what will be the translation. Nani o meshi agarimasu ka? Alright, now we have kureru and suru. So kureru, somebody gives me. Okay? Somebody gives you. It means gives, but it is one of the two translation of to give. And then we have suru. Their polite form is kuremasu and shimasu. For kureru, we have kudasaru. It's respectful verb or honorific verb. And for suru, we have nasaru. Nasaru. And their conjugation is kudasaimasu. Kudasaimasu for kudasaru. And for nasaru, nasaimasu. And this is the conjugation for kudasaru. Again, better use the polite form. Kudasaimasu, kudasaimasen, kudasaimashita, kudasaimasen deshita. And for nasaru, nasaimasu, nasaimasen, nasaimashita, nasaimasen deshita. Tanaka-san no okaasan ga kono hon no kudasaimashita. Tanaka's mother graciously gave me this book. Here, the polite verb is kuremashita. We can say, Tanaka-san no okaasan ga kono hon no kuremashita. That is polite form. But when we are respecting the mother of Tanaka, we give respect to the mother of Tanaka. Instead of just using the polite form, we use the kudasaimashita. Graciously gave. You are saying to that person that you are talking to that you respect Tanaka's mother. Shinpai nasaranai de kudasai. Shinpai nasaranai de kudasai. Please don't worry. So here, shinpai nasaranai de comes from shinpai suru, to worry. So instead of using shinai, casual negative present form of suru, we use, in place of suru, we use nasaranai, nasaru. So nasaranai de kudasai. We replace totally suru and use nasaru, nasaru. Okay? Okay. So here we have neru, miru. So their polite counterpart for neru, nemasu. For miru, mimasu. For neru, the respectful verb equivalent is oyasumi ni naru. Oyasumi ni naru. Alright? For miru, gora ni naru. Gora ni naru. Okay, so this is the conjugation. For oyasumi ni naru, oyasumi ni narimasu. Oyasumi ni narimasen. Oyasumi ni narimashita. Oyasumi ni narimasen deshita. For gora ni naru, gora ni narimasu, gora ni narimasen, gora ni narimashita, gora ni narimasen deshita. Sensei wa 10時頃お休みになるそうです. So here we use お休みになるそうです. So お休みになる means graciously sleep. It is the respectful verb equivalent of neru, the casual form. So, neru so desu. I hear that the teacher graciously sleeps at around 10 o'clock. Again, when we use oyasumi ni naru, we give respect to what the teacher did. In this case, sleeping. Instead of just saying neru so desu, 10時頃 neru so desu. Basically, that is polite. When we feel that we respect the teacher, we use oyasumi ni naru. Naru because it is followed by so desu. And the verb followed by so desu must be in the casual form. Oyasumi ni naru is the casual form. Oyasumi ni naru so desu. I hear the teacher graciously sleeps at around 10 o'clock. 社長はニュースをご覧になっています. The president is graciously watching the news. Again, giving respect to the president. So, ご覧になって is the respectful verb equivalent of 見て or 見る. So, ご覧になって, the te form. ご覧になる. ご覧になっています. 見ています. 見ています. So, we can also say, 社長はニュースを見ています. The president is watching the news. Next, iyu to say. So, its polite counterpart. Counterpart is iimasu. For teiru, teimasu. And their respectful verb counterpart is osharu, osharu. For iyu. And then teiru, teirasharu. The irregular conjugation is oshaimasu, oshaimasu. For osharu, oshaimasu. For te irashaimasu, we have te irasharu, te irasharu. And this is the conjugation. Osharu for osharu, oshaimasu, oshaimasen, oshaimashita, oshaimasen deshita. For te irasharu, te irashaimasu, te irashaimasen, te irashaimashita, te irashaimasen deshita. We also have rules for those verbs with no special honorific equivalent. For teiru, the teiru form, we just say te irasharu or te irashaimasu. Sensei wa tenwa de hanashite irashaimasu. The teacher is graciously speaking on the phone. So instead of te hanashite imasu, which is the polite form, we use hanashite irashaimasu, which is the gracious form or respectful form of the verb. 部長は疲れていらっしゃるみたいです. 部長は疲れていらっしゃるみたいです. It appears that the department manager is graciously tired. We can also use the rule o verb stem plus ninaru. We flank the verb stem with o and ninaru. 先生はもうお帰りになりました. お帰りなりました is the respectful honorific equivalent of 帰りました. We can just say 先生はもう帰りました. This is acceptable, but that is a polite form. When we want to give respect to the teacher, we can use the respectful verb, okaeri ni narimashita. Kaeri is the verb stem. Okaeri ni narimashita. The teacher already went home, graciously went home. Okay, another example. Kono zashi o oyomi natta koto ga arimasu ka? Have you graciously read this magazine? So, oyomi ni natta is the casual past affirmative form of ninaru. So, ninatta. Oyomi ni natta koto ga arimasu ka? Have you graciously read this magazine? So, instead of saying oyomi ni natta, we can use the polite form kono zashi o yonda koto ga arimasu ka? So, this is the polite form. Dozo o tsukai ni natte kudasai. So, o tsukai ni natte. Natte, ni natte is the te form of ninaru. So, o tsukai ni natte kudasai. Please graciously use it. So, when we let the teacher or somebody of higher status that we respect, we use o tsukai ni natte kudasai. We can use dozo tsukatte kudasai. That's also acceptable. That is the polite form. Okay, so see lesson 11, part 3 for the topic koto ga aru, koto ga aru. And for te kudasai, please see lesson 6, part 2. So the verb stem is the verb form that goes before the mas. So we have tabemasu, nomimasu, okimasu, hanashimasu, yomimasu, kaimasu, mimasu, benkyou shimasu, hatarakimasu, asobimasu, shimasu, machimasu. So we just remove the mas here. Okay, so we have two parts for this practice part. First, we have changing the following into the honorific or respectful expressions with those verbs that have equivalent respectful verbs. So for iku, its equivalent honorific respectful expression is irasharu, irasharu, right? And so these are the other examples. Taberu, iu, iru, suru, neru, kuru, miru, nomu, sunderu, kureru, kekkon shiteru. They have equivalent honorific respectful expressions. The part 2 of the practice is using the o plus verb stem plus ninaru expression. So for those verbs that do not have honorific respectful expressions. For example, utau. So utau, casual form. It becomes utai ni naru. Utai ni naru. Okay. These are the other examples. Wakaru, shiraberu, yomu, kiku, suwaru, tatsu, noru, hairu, matsu, niau. Okay, for the first part. So, taberu, iu, iru. Taberu, its respectful expression equivalent is meshi agaru, meshi agaru. For iu, osharu, osharu. For iru, iru is irasharu, irasharu. Okay. For suru, we have nasaru, nasaru. Naru, oyasumi ni naru, oyasumi ni naru. For kuru, we have irasharu, irasharu. For miru, we have gora ni naru, gora ni naru. For nomu, meshi agaru, again, meshi agaru. For sunderu, sunde irasharu, sunde irasharu. Okay? For the last two, kekkon shiteru becomes kekkon shite irasharu, kekkon shite irasharu. For kureru, kudasaru, kudasaru. Alright, so for the second part, flank the verb stem with o and ni naru. So wakaru becomes owakari ni naru, owakari ni naru. Shiraberu becomes oshirabe ni naru, oshirabe ni naru. Yomu becomes お読みになる。お読みになる。聞く becomes お聞きになる。お聞きになる。座る becomes お座りになる。お座りになる。立つ becomes お立ちになる。お立ちになる。乗る becomes お乗りになる。お乗りになる。入る becomes お入りになる。お入りになる。For the last part, 待つ becomes お待ちになる。お待ちになる。And 似合う becomes お似合いになる。お似合いになる。お似合いになる。Alright, thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you have learned something.